Nongqawuse was a Xhosa prophet. Her prophecies led to a millenarian movement that culminated in the Xhosa cattle-killing movement and famine of 1856-1857 in what is now Eastern Cape, South Africa. Nongqawuse was born in 1841 in independent Xhosaland, but close to the border of the recently established colony of British Kaffraria in Eastern Cape, South Africa. She was Xhosa. Little is known of Nongqawuse's parents, as they died when she was young. According to historian Jeffrey B. Paris, Nongqawuse stated in a deposition that Malakaza was my uncle, my father's name, Umhlanhla, of the Krali tribe. He died when I was young. Nongqawuse's parents died during the Waterkloof campaigns of the 8th Frontier War, 1850-1853. Nongqawuse is believed to have been quite conscious and aware of the tensions between the Xhosa and the Cape Colony. During this period, the Xhosa were facing increasing encroachment of their traditional lands by European settlers. The orphaned Nongqawuse was raised by her uncle Malakaza, who was the son of a counselor of Xhosa King Sarili Kahinsa. Malakaza was a religious man, a Xhosa spiritualist, who left Xhosaland after his mother's death and spent time in the Cape Colony, where he became familiar with Christianity. He returned to Xhosaland in 1853. Malakazi was to have a major influence in Nongqawuse's life, acting as an interpreter and organizer of her visions. In April 1856, 15-year-old Nongqawuse and her friend Nombanda, who was between the ages of 8 and 10, went to scare birds from her uncle's crops in the fields by the sea at the mouth of the Jarha River in the present-day Wild Coast region of South Africa. When she returned, Nongqawuse told Malakaza that she had met the spirits of 2 of her ancestors. She claimed that the spirits had told her that the
Xhosa people should destroy their crops and kill their cattle, the source of their food as well as their wealth.
Nongqawuse claimed that the ancestors who had appeared to them said, the dead would arise. All living cattle would have to be slaughtered, having been reared by contaminated hands. Cultivation would cease. New grain would have to be dug. New houses would have to be built. New cattle enclosures would have to be erected. New milk sacks would have to be made. Doors would have to be weaved with buka roots. People must abandon witchcraft, incest, and adultery. In return, the spirits would sweep all European settlers into the sea. The Xhosa people would be able to replenish the granaries and fill the kraals with more beautiful and healthier cattle. During this time, many Xhosa herds were plagued with lung sickness, possibly introduced by European cattle. Malakaza did not believe her at first, but when Nongqawuse described one of the men, Malakaza, himself a diviner, recognized the description as that of his dead brother and became convinced she was telling the truth. Malakaza repeated the prophecy to Sarili. The cattle-killing frenzy affected not only the Gakaleka, Sarili's clan, but the whole of the Xhosa nation. Historians estimate that the Gakaleka killed between 300,000 and 400,000 head of cattle. Not all Xhosa people believed Nongqawuse's prophecies. A small minority, known as the Amagogotia, stingy ones, refused to slaughter and neglect their crops, and this refusal was used by Nongqawuse to rationalize the failure of the prophecies over a period of 15 months, April 1856, June 1857. The consequences of the cattle-killing movement were devastating. The Xhosa people faced severe food shortages, which resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands from starvation and related diseases. Entire communities were decimated, and the social fabric of Xhosa society was profoundly disrupted. The British authorities, observing the chaos, took advantage of the situation to further consolidate their control over Xhosa lands. They provided limited relief aid to some affected areas, but ultimately used the crisis to expand their influence and dominance. The cattle-killing movement serves as a tragic reminder of the consequences of blindly following prophetic beliefs and the impact of colonialism on indigenous communities. It remains a poignant chapter in South African history, highlighting the complexities of cultural, religious, and political interactions during the colonial period.